Essentials, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So with me today, I'm with Grant Morrell. How are you, Grant?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Noms. I'm pretty good. Um, been busy, been a busy week because I've just come back from Marrakesh. So, there's things to catch up on. And equally, I'm going to Las Vegas next week. This is the time of year when I do those two trips. So in between, I'm trying to get everything done. And I'm getting a lot done, actually.
Yeah.
But pretty tired. Tired as a result. Well, in fact, I say that. I'm not tired. I was really tired last night when I was on a late night training call with some colleagues, and I said to them, "Guys, I've really got to go." I said I was tired 2.5 hours ago. I've really got to go, but I feel fine now. So yeah, that's me. How about you, Nomsa?
Yeah, good working. The weather is not helping as well.
Good. Okay.
It's very hot. I don't know whether it's hot in London.
Yeah, yeah, it's hot. And I actually want to get out and see a little bit of the heat. I had a client wanted to rearrange, and they put it back for late afternoon. So after this, I'm going to dash out and just grab a coffee somewhere and just chill out and just let my mind unwrap for a little bit, catch a little bit of gentle sunshine, nice, lovely weather, and then come back and got a couple of meetings tonight. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, it's really nice though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, other than that, it's just work. And these kids, one of them is at school, one of them is at home.
cool, cool. Oh, good. That's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my youngest one is she's so like she's good, but this one, the older one, when she wants mommy, she wants mommy. There is not like to say I'm busy, hope I'm doing live. She wants mommy, she wants mommy. But when I need her, when I call her, I need something, she's like, Mommy, I'm busy.
Really. Wow.
Yeah, so yeah. Okay, let's go live and see what we have with this. Let's go and see what topic we have. So today we have the power of self-worth, seeing yourself with new eyes. Self-worth is the foundation of how you see yourself, how you allow others to treat you, and how boldly you walk into your purpose. When you do not know your worth, you may accept less than God created you for. You may shrink over, explain, chase approval, or stay in place that damages your peace. But when you begin to see yourself with new eyes, everything changes. You stop measuring yourself by rejection, by mistakes, people's opinion, or painful season. You begin to see yourself through truth, healing, grace, God is love. So self-worth is not pride, it's not arrogant, it's the quiet confidence that says, I am valuable, I am loved, I'm growing, I'm becoming who God created me to be. So what do you think, Grant, about this topic?
Well, I mean, literally, I mean, self-worth is everything. Knowing your self-worth, and I think getting the balance is absolutely right. You've got to understand your self-worth, and then, of course, how do you determine what your self-worth is? Let's look at that. Yeah, you need to determine what it is, understand what it is, and then think, what does that mean in real terms? And then way I go about my life and the way I go about everything I do, my business, my family, how I stand up in public, who I am. That's your self worth. But it takes some exploring, it takes some understanding. And of course, we all have a blueprint, if you will, of our self worth. And that can quite often come, of course, from our upbringing, our let's think about this. Really, it comes from your upbringing, your environment, and your personal life experiences. Because you can have two people brought up in the same town, same religion, same era, same generation, different parents, different attitudes, but your experience might be different. Your parents, your school friends, your colleagues, may have given you a different infrastructure. This is why we're all very different. Even though there's commonalities, there are big chunks like What era were you born? What country were you born? What was going on economically? What level of education did you get? Were your parents good parents? All these things are big things, but then there's the subtle cues, the cues in between, such as the experience. What happened to you? You know, we can both walk down the street, and when we walk home, we can have two different experiences. One could be a great experience, one could be a negative experience. In fact, we was talking last night on a charity thing I was at. We used to have a member who had experienced some quite bad things in his earlier life. And I have no doubt that what he told us was true. Yet, unfortunately, he projected this forward into the rest of his life. And therefore, almost vilified everybody else, thinking that they were going to react the same way as the bad people who had reacted to him when he was younger. And it really made people very uncomfortable because it was almost, you know, victimizing people for things they hadn't done and had no intention of doing. There you are. That's one experience. Equally, there was other people in this group who had come from the same background, the same ethnic, religious background, who had a completely different view to him. And they said that he was wrong. You know, so he was a victim of his own experience, as we all are. So I think it's really about taking a look at that experience we've had and realizing, is this the blueprint I want to be wearing for the rest of my life? You know, we've all had good experiences, we've all had bad experiences. But what do they really mean? You know, we give them a subconscious meaning. But really, what do they really mean? What happened to us? We've all had good things and bad things. And the way I look at it to some extent, and this is rational thinking, and of course the human brain is far from rational. But if we look at it rationally, we've all had negative things happen to us. And I get that. And I understand that. And I empathize with that. But there's nothing you can do about that in terms of literally, unfortunately, cannot go back in time and change that. Yeah, I would love to be able to. It'd be one of my biggest dreams, actually, but we cannot do that. However, what we can do is we can change our reactions to it. That's something we can do. So I would like to, you know, preempt, if you will, this talk about that very subject. What can we do to really to then find the power of your self-worth, to see yourself in new eyes? Because exactly, sometimes we've done things in the past and it may fill us with guilt, shame, pain, all of these things, some of which is justified and some actually isn't. Is it remotely justified? It may be guilt or shame that somebody else has put onto us. But even so, what can you do to press reset and see yourself into new eyes? And I think it's a lovely subject. That's what I really think. Over to you, Nomsa.
I like it when you say sometimes the people may have the same experience, but the reaction, they react in different ways. They can translate their experience completely different. Some of them might react positive and some of them might react negative. But I think what is important at the end of the day is the understanding that your worth is not end, because some people, they think that they need titles, they need this, they need to prove anything. Your value is not based on what you achieve or what you own or prove. You were already valuable before anyone clapped for you. Until people can understand that, I think they will be able to actually treat themselves with kindness, treat themselves with respect. Because imagine, like right now, I was listening to Pastor James. He works with Pastor Henry. He was saying, if you are in a relationship, a woman says they don't want to be with you, or a man says they don't want to be with you, he says what you need to do is go out, buy yourself a nice meal, and celebrate. And he said the people do is they get angry, but he said just go out and celebrate. And he said when you go out and celebrate, that person, they might even get hurt that why are you not reacting to the situation. And it was like sometimes you just have to accept things the way they are being presented to you and say, okay, I didn't do anything, or maybe if I did something wrong, but I'm just gonna go out and just be me and just embrace your self-worth. Because some people, they think, I think what he was trying to say is people think that when things go wrong, it means they're not good enough, but that's not true. Things will always go wrong, whether a relationship, whether business, whether anything. I think it's part of life. I'm sure, Grant, you got your skills from problems, right? You
Yeah,
learned your skill.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you when you were faced with challenges and you woke up one day and you were like, okay, I need to go and start this, and you ended up being what you are because of the challenges we face in life.
Yes, I did. How did I first get into this industry? Well, I got into it years after the thing happened, but I had a very big relationship split up. Well, it's very big for me, and I was devastated, absolutely devastated, and I was very depressed, very depressed, and I was going downhill pretty fast. Um, I managed to go to work every day, which was amazing. I don't know how I did, but I did. But my mind was exhausted with anguish every day, anguish, and questioning myself what had gone wrong, and the relationship gone. Was it my fault? Was it their fault? It was both our fault. We both made mistakes. It was one of those things. Um, anyway, that's what had happened, and I was dead. Every 30 seconds, I was awake. It was in my mind. So at the end of the day, I was thoroughly exhausted, and I was going downhill fast. One of my sisters was quite worried about me, and I think, yeah, she was fairly right to be worried about me. I was not in good shape, as I thought, as I remember. And I didn't read any books about this, but I sat there and thought about it. I thought, asked myself lots and lots and lots of questions. Who am I? Why am I feeling this bad? Why did this person make me feel this bad? I was happy before I knew them. Why am I not happy now? What is it? What have I done wrong? And I realized basically, when I really boiled it down, much to my huge surprise, it was a lack of self-worth. And I was surprised. So then I started doing things to improve that. I made, I suppose, my own protocol. I was just surviving. I was just doing what I needed to do to survive. But it later became a little bit of a breakup protocol, which I started doing and helped other people with, and got good success. And I just did it to help people, because I didn't ever want anyone to feel the way I felt. And I got over it by doing various things and realized it worked and rebuilt myself. It did change me though. I changed a bit. A bit of me died with that, but equally a bit of me grew as well. So I learned this stuff, and it was really what happened was a couple of years ago, a couple of years after this, I had a friend who was a coach before I was a coach. Well, I was a coach. He was a coach. And he said to me, oh, he was going through a relationship split up. And I gave him some advice. And he said, I'll never forget, he was on the phone and he said to me, you're very wise. He said, you're really good at this. He said, how did you know how to do this stuff? Because I've been through it. And I worked the answers out for myself, which is difficult because a lot of people try and work things out and they never get there. And I would not advise someone to try to work it out for themselves. It's just that I had no other options. This was like before the internet was a big thing. You didn't know where to find people to help you with this stuff. It wasn't like it is now. And it was tough. It was really, really tough. And thank God that I did find a way through it. And when you read all the books about it now, it pretty much conforms with that. It's just that I didn't read the books. I did work it out myself. So a couple of years later, this friend asked me, he was a coach. I gave him the advice. He said, wow, you're really good at this. He said, you'd make a half decent coach one day. And I said, nah, I don't want to be a coach. And that's what I said. And a couple of years later, I was seeing coaching coming about. It was becoming more acceptable. I liked it. My girlfriend at the time said, you've got to do this. You've got to do this. And I said, and I phoned that guy up and I said, a couple of years ago we spoke and you said to me that I would probably make a good coach. He said, yeah, yeah, I think you really would. And I said, how would someone go about becoming a coach if they wanted to do that? And that's how it started. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. I like it when you say part of you died because we react in different ways. I used to think that when people split up is their fault, but now that I have dig deep in life doing my cleansing, I'm understanding that people grow and then they become different things, like we're different the way we are raised, like you were saying at the beginning, Granty, we are raised different. So if we were to enter a relationship and talk about how we were raised by our family, and because like let's say if you are coming like you are one of three, and then you marry someone maybe who is one of eight, and let's say maybe their parents, very very close parents, or maybe their dad, if their dad, you are very very close to your parents, so you are very very close to your parents, and then you marry someone who their father maybe was there but not there,
Yeah. Yeah.
not involved, and their mother involved with the children and stuff. So that can cause dysfunction when you marry someone. So it's very, very important to talk about these things, how family was like growing up, so that you can both now unlearn everything. Because like for you, the only thing that you carry is love. Your daddy was a lovely man. When you describe your daddy was always there, loving and caring father, and your mom loving and caring mother. So the only thing you understand is being a good husband and caring. So now if you get involved with someone who their father did not care, or mother was always involved. So for them, life will be different. The way they see life will be different. So now it's important to then sit down and talk about how you can then create your own life, the two of you, and create your own foundation of how you both going to walk in this path as a team. Because now you both have seen a different world. Now, how is your world? How are you going to create your own world? I think it works in that relationship. But the problem is people enter relationship, oh, I want to get married. I want to have kids. Money, how much houses do we have? They forget about thinking about this world, creating their own world. All they want is like, if I need a husband, like feeling I need a husband to have kids, that's all I'm gonna think of. People think about when they enter a relationship. Or if a man feels like he wants to have kids, they never ever sit down. But then later on, the relationship gets affected because they never. And then when it gets affected, it's not their fault. They blame each other. They blame themselves. Like I'm sure you must have sat there and blame yourself. But then if I was to sit down and ask you questions, you realize actually it had nothing to do with you, or it had nothing to do with the girl. You both were very lazy.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to talk about problems.
That's right. Right. And so many relationships are like that is that, and I've seen it. I've seen it. Like,
Yeah.
for example, someone come in, a single child. I've seen the
Yeah.
child coming from a family that perhaps were not the most caring towards that child. Not cruel or anything, but just a bit cold.
Yeah.
And then marrying someone who's from a close-knit, loving family, maybe not 8 people, but three or four kids, that kind of thing. And it's busy, they're popping around all the time and doing that kind of thing and on the phone and I've got to do this for them. And the single child is looking like, what is all this activity? I don't like I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's like living in a youth club sort of thing, and it's like that, but to the other person, it's normal and it's
Yeah.
adjustment. Now, I've seen that become a problem. In fact, I just remembered I was in that situation a little bit myself. Now, let me tell you about my family. This is interesting. I'd forgotten this for all these years until you mentioned it. But I was in a relationship where I had 2 sisters, and we're fairly close knit. We had stuff going on, but we were brothers and sisters, and we loved each other and our parents. It was good. Now, my girlfriend had a similar thing, but much more magnified. She would do lots and lots of things for her brother. I mean, we would be going out, and then suddenly she'd got to drop a brother somewhere, and it would disrupt what we were doing. And doing stuff like that all the time, then doing it and dropping this around her aunts, and it was not planned stuff, it was last minute stuff. And I was like, well, okay, well, it's not planned. We plan to do it. Let's do this, do that for them later. And she would drop everything for her family, and it did used to wind me up. It did used to wind me up. Not that I begrudged her doing it for a family, but it was like they didn't have any respect to say, "Oh, you're going out. Well, when you do it, when you come back," they expected it to be done then.
Yeah.
I felt it was wrong. You people may agree or disagree with me. I'm just being honest.
No, I think you got to have boundaries in
Yeah,
that part, Granty. It's
yeah,
like my family, I'll do anything for them. But when I'm busy, when I'm doing something, like if my mom wants to talk to me, if I'm busy doing something, they're okay with it. They don't distract me.
yeah. It's and that's just normal to me. I mean, I think it's mutual respect that they must respect the fact you've got your own plans. So plan it for another day. It's like my sister now. I don't just turn up and knock on the door. I just, hey, are you available later? I might
Yeah.
stop by in an hour. Are you there for a cup of tea? And if you're not, you're not. Okay, it just seemed common sense to me. Yeah, equally, I remember my father with a similar situation. I had 2 sisters, and my father had 2 sisters. My father was the youngest, and I was the youngest, strangely enough. Um, but I remember being a kid, and then my father, his job involved going around from place to place. So sometimes he'd get like a lunch break, and he might be near one of his sisters' houses. And in those days, you've got to remember, there was no mobile phones, right? So it wasn't calling or dropping an email or saying, "Hey, I'm going to be around tomorrow." So it just pop in. You just knock on the door and go in, and it was fine. They had that kind of. It was fine just to turn up and come in. And to be honest with you, if I just knocked on my sister's house and said, "Hey, are you there?" I don't think she'd mind one little bit. But I just wouldn't do it without.
Yeah.
But of
Because you
course,
were raised, you were taught, you were loved, but at the same time, you were taught the boundaries at the same time.
yeah, I guess. I mean, it, let's look at it practically. It is easier to do that now because you have mobile phones and people have phones in the house, and so you can phone. I mean, I suppose if I didn't have a mobile phone, I might say, like sometimes myself and my existing sister live just a few miles from each other, and the town in between is like the common town, and I'll like shopping area, and I'll say, "Hey, I might be going up there for a couple of hours having a coffee. Are you up there? You want to meet up and have a coffee or something? We might do something like that." So if there was no mobile phones, what would I do? I'd probably call the landline the night before, the day before, and say, "I'm going to be up there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a couple of hours. Did you want to join me?"
Yeah.
The kind of thing you'd do. But yeah, that would be commonplace. But of course, we do it on the mobile now. But I, you know, That's just the way. And that's not, doesn't make me right. I mean, if you've got a family where you just knock on the door, sometimes you've got an aunt or a sister who lives down the street, you know, and they pop in, get that cup of sugar, or they come and have. I think that's wonderful. If that works for you, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But I suppose, as you're saying, when it comes to the relationship coming together, a man and a woman, or any partner, any two women, two men, whatever, when it comes together, it's about compatibility. Is that going to work?
Yeah, understanding where you're both coming from, so you can then unlearn that world and create your own world, appreciate the world that you've had,
Yeah,
and accommodate the other person. But people don't think about that. They are all about materialistic. That one, let's have children, and then when they have children, they spend the time 5 days, 7 days a week doing children activities and ignoring each other and things like that. But when the relationship goes wrong now, they blame on self-worth.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm not worthy.
That's right. What did I do wrong? I'm not good enough.
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong.
Hmm. Sometimes it doesn't do anything wrong. So the power of self-worth, of seeing yourself with new eyes, I guess a way to deal with it, your self-worth. I'll give people one tip now, which is going to help to boost your self-worth. Just take a list and write down 20 things, 20 things that have been successes in your life, in your entire life. So since you was a child up to now. Now, I can't even define for you what a success is. Whether that means winning a gold star at school when you was a kid, winning the sports day or something, or getting a bronze medal for that. That's still a win. It's a great win. Whether it means being happy is a huge win. Having children, a lot of people say my children, but so what I'm saying is whatever you consider a win is a win. It's not, I can't dictate that to you.
Yeah.
20 of them, and just don't think, just put pen to paper, right? I'll type it out now, and don't stop until you get 20. And then look back and remember them, and remember the steps you went through to achieve those things. And then start telling me after that, try telling me you're not worthy. Right? You've done
Because
something.
even getting up in the morning is still a success.
Yeah. Yeah. My late uncle, who you never met, he died 10 years ago, amazing, but he was a real character. Like some people just say to me, "Oh, I think I met your uncle," and I said, "Well, you didn't, because if you met him, you would remember." He was quite a character.
Yeah.
And he used to say when he was getting older, he used to say, "Oh, I woke up this morning. I thought, my God, I'm still alive. Am I still here?" Like, but every day's a blessing. It's like, well, I've got another day to make it happen.
Yeah, celebrate it. Yeah, I think we truly, if we were to look at life in different ways, there will be no anxiety or depression because you will appreciate these little things, that the success of the little things, even like going out, getting married is a blessing, or having kids is a blessing. But people don't see it that way. Someone who's got kids, when they divorce, oh my God, all they think about is what this woman did.
Yeah,
Or they don't see the children that came out of a woman. They don't see the children came out from a man, what this man did. Do you know what he did, Nomsa? Oh, that man. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm like,
yeah. Someone. It's an interesting thing, and I'm going to be a little bit provocative here.
yeah.
And I use this same trick on myself, by the way. So I'm not just putting it on other people. It's not a trick. It's the thing. It's that a couple of weeks ago, someone was saying, "Hey, Grant, what are you doing?" I'm doing this. "Oh, your life sounds great. You're very lucky." And I said, "No, I'm not. I navigated my life to be that way." I created it that way. And then he said, I guess it's not all fun and fantastic. I said, no, it isn't. You're absolutely right. It isn't. There's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of, moments thinking. Probably 60% of my time is thinking
Yeah.
about this or doing that. If I do that, it'll impact on this, and then that's going to affect that. So, slotting all the pieces together. And it's not, there are moments every day in my profession, every day something will press your buttons. So when people say they've been triggered, their buttons have been pressed, I'm like, join the club. I mean, this happens to me like 4 times a day. You have to develop it. It's not for everyone, this kind of work, because it does press your buttons. You have to have a drive to do it, I guess. But my point is, my success is my creation.
Yeah.
My downfall is also my creation. So it's like, and someone's like, so let's take that fault. And then I heard someone say recently to someone, or in fact, it was like in a story, that someone said, oh, I'm not happy with my life, and this has gone wrong. And then they said to them, well, why did you do that to yourself then? And I said, what do you mean I didn't? I said, oh, yes, you did. You create your own reality. The theory of whatever happens to us is our creation.
Yep.
Good or bad. So you created it. You put yourself in that position. Now I know people may be getting upset to hear this, but just hear me out on this one. Just hear me out where I'm going with this. Now I know stuff can happen to us sometimes. That's our external locus of control, when we feel that the outside world is happening to us and we're a victim of it. I get that. Crap happens sometimes. It does to you, it does to, I get that. But once it's happened, that we can't dictate that stuff happen. But what we can dictate is what we do about it. That's where our self-worth comes in. If something bad or someone's treated you badly, I don't mean for a day or someone says an unkind comment. Everybody can have a bad day and say something bad. But if it continues and continues and continues, or if you're continuously in that job and you're not getting that pay rise that you deserve, I'm not talking about being unrealistic, but if you really, really deserve it and they can't provide it, either they haven't got the money to provide it or they've got the money and won't. Either way, your self-worth needs to tell you, am I going to remain in a situation, or am I going to do something about it? Last night, I was on a call with a very good friend who wants to work with someone who's a great person, but kind of difficult to contact and evasive a little bit. And I said to him, look, at the end of the day, I understand you want to work with that person, but you've not been given any clear answers and guidance, and it's not been easy for you. At the end of the day, you need to have your own self-worth, and you need to say that at the end of the day, I've got to look after myself and do my own thing. Can you work in that environment? Can you work in that regime? And if you really can't, and you had that frank, open, respectful conversation with that person, not an argument, a conversation, if that can't be resolved and it can't meet your minimum criteria, then that's down to you to change something.
Yep.
And that is down to you. So we do have choice. In 99% of the cases of the world, we have choice. Okay, if you're shackled into a prison cell, etc., I get the fact you may not have a choice to get out. But in most of our cases, thank God, we are not in that situation. We can make a choice. Tough choices, but we can make a choice. And the more you work on your self-worth, your value, the easier it is to take control of your destiny. So by looking at these things, these 20 things, achievements you've had in your life, by looking at ideas like that, by looking at how you've helped other people, your greatest achievements, where you achieve things that you think you couldn't achieve, first of all, yet somehow you still did it. Look at that. What were those things? And more importantly, how did you do that? If you was teaching me how to do it, breaking it down to step 1, step 2, what was that process you took to achieve that thing that you didn't think you could achieve? That's your model of success. This is going to start building up your self-esteem, your self-image, your self-worth, which is overall coming back to your self-concept, your ownership. If you start doing that, you find it easier to say no to certain situations and to make your own stand. It's not about being rude or arrogant, not at all. It's about having calm, quiet, respectful confidence. And life starts getting better because when you treat yourself that way, other people will sense that and they will treat
They
you.
respect you, yeah.
It really is down to us to take a little bit of control of this. And I say this with the greatest empathy that I know some people out there listening to this will be in a relationship that they find it hard to get away with. I understand. I really understand. Some people will really not have much food. I get that. I really understand. So I'm not being flippant, sitting in an ivory tower saying, oh, just do change your world. No, I'm realistic. I'm feet on the ground. I've been not quite as bad as that, but I've been in some pretty rough situations in the past, and I understand. But what I'd say is, what can you do to improve that situation? Maybe it won't go from there to there, right? I get that. But if move the needle, what can you do to move it from here to there? Just that. That's all. Because once you get there, it's quite easy to get there. Once you get there, it's perfectly reasonable to get to there. Now you come from there to there. That's a different place. You're in a different zone. You see, there's energy zones. Do you know about these energy zones? Also, different color zones and stuff like this.
Hmm.
Okay. There's theorized to be about 4 different color zones. Right? Red, yellow, green, gold. And we are all capable of being in all 4, and we can move from one to the other. So let's look at the red zone. The red zone is when it's all about survival. And you haven't got time to take care of anyone else. It's just you. Right? So red zone might be that you don't have enough food. You don't have enough water. You don't have, and you're struggling to find shelter from the elements, literally from the rain, from the wind, from the sun. You need shelter, okay? And that's it. So trying to talk to someone like that about becoming a multimillionaire and finding spiritual enlightenment is a bit of a waste of time, because they'll probably just want to punch you because they need food and water, right? You're just talking, in a crazy hypothetical world. It's so far removed from their reality, it's untrue. That's the red zone. So if you're in the red zone, you should at least be thinking, how can I get into the yellow zone, which is just one step away. Now, the yellow zone is about survival. It's about more than survival, but you're surviving, and that's your surviving. No one else. You can't look after a team, a family, and nothing like that. But you have managed to get enough food down you each day, enough water, and you've got shelter. May not be fantastic. You're not living in a palace, but you've got a warm, dry roof over your head. There is a bed. You may not have a television, but you don't need that, right? You can eat. You've got a toilet. You've got a shower. You've got a roof over your head, right? And you've got enough money to survive. You do not have money to go on holiday. You do not have money to buy nice things, but you can survive. You can put some clothes on your back, and you can eat, and you're safe, right? You're safe. That's yellow. So if you're in the red zone, you need to be thinking, how can I get to yellow? Because right now, that would feel fantastic compared to where I am now. So get to the yellow. What can you do? If your life depended on it, and actually it probably does, what could you do to sustainably get there? Once you're in the yellow zone, that's when things start happening. What about the next step, which is your green zone? Now, the green zone is when things are going pretty nicely. You've got more than enough money coming in. I'm not saying about being a billionaire. I'm not talking about that. Okay. But you've got money coming in. It's regular. You're not fearing where's the next food coming from. You've got money coming in. You've probably got a reasonably nice home, apartment or something to stay. Again, not a palace, but quite nice. It's okay. It's comfortable. You got that, you got a TV, you got a few little luxuries, you can afford a few nice treats of food now and then, maybe go out for the odd night, and probably afford yourself a holiday somewhere. Okay, things are okay. You may even have a partner, you may even have children, and you can take care of them. You're not worried thinking, where's the next paycheck coming from? You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're doing okay. You got enough and a little bit extra to start planning for a better future. This is the green zone. You can invest a little bit in shares or something. You can invest some money in the bank. You can put some money away for a rainy day. You can do these things, right? Or you can build a sideline business. You can start to build a second income stream coming up. Right? You got a little bit of spare working capital to do stuff with. Life is pretty good. If it got no better than that, it'd still be okay. You're pretty happy, you're enjoying that. This is your green zone. So now, if you're in the yellow zone, you should be thinking, I'm all right, I'm safe, I'm sheltered. How can I get into that green zone? And you can start at the beginning of the green zone and go all the way up to the top of the green zone. Yeah, but just get in there. How can I get in there? That's what you should be thinking. Now, when you're in the green zone, some people, what happens when they get at the top of the green zone, they get really successful, money's coming in, it's really good, they don't have to think too much about it. And sometimes they just feel busy. They're busy with life, and they're looking out and think, what is this all about? Where do I go from it? They've got a mate, they've got a partner, they're reproducing, they're having kids, right? Which is one of those fundamental things in mankind to do. It's the closest we get to living forever, is to replicate us, right? Or have our offspring with our DNA. It's the closest thing to carry on. It's a key human need. Not everybody has kids. I don't. But actually, most humans, they really need to feel an instinct to do it. But they've got all that handled. But then they think, well, what next? Now, the next is the gold zone. And the gold zone, you've seen it. People who are unworldly, they make magic happen. They have the Midas touch. Things happen, money just falls at them. Offers get made and money just falls in their lap. Fortune, great success, meeting wonderful people, travel, all this stuff is just wonderful. They pick up the phone and people just want to work with them. They don't even have to advertise, it seems. It's like their reputation precedes them, right? It's magnificent. And also, perhaps they're looking for spiritual alignment. They're looking for fulfillment. Because they got all the other stuff, but they want to understand what's beyond this. That's the gold zone. So if you're in the green zone, maybe you're in the green zone and you're happy there. Most people are. They don't ever want to go gold. They're happy. That's absolutely fine. But if you do want to go higher, ask yourself, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become as a person? What attributes of mine do I need to work on and embellish in order to be the kind of person that has the things that that person gets? Who do I need to be to become in a gold zone? And that's where just magic happens. So there we have it. Red zone, yellow zone, green zone, and gold zone. So this is your zones, and this has a lot to do with your self-worth. So self-worth and achievements got to go hand in hand. So that's why if you ever achieve something, please, please, please celebrate it, because that's going to help to level up your self-worth. And then your confidence will go higher with self-worth. Okay, like this. And it goes up and up. That's how you climb the scales. That's what I wanted to share. And that's, in my opinion, that's how you go for the power of self-worth. Okay. So seeing yourself in new eyes, because you create new realities, and that allows you to see yourself in new eyes. That's what I wanted to say. Nomsa, what would you like to say?
I like when you put these zones, because it helps you to understand your achievement in life, where you've been, so you can appreciate life. But some people don't appreciate what they have, because when you say, okay, I'm in the this zone, I'm in that zone, I need to go to green. And once you get into green, and then you start looking back where you've been, and now you are like, okay, you know, like you start understanding like that life is a game, or like is a puzzle. And sometimes you're down, and sometimes you are up. So nothing is smooth. So that's why for me, if you understand that sometimes you're down, sometimes you are up, you will have this moment where you wouldn't even evaluate your life, whether am I worthy, or am I this, because sometimes we don't teach people like how to, for them, how to love us. When our word is wounded, or genuinely love can feel unfamiliar. When someone truly enters your life and they take you to a different zone, and you are like, now you question like, why is he different? What does he want? Is not normal. So that's what human being is. Let's say a woman who's been in an abusive relationship, or a man who's been in an abusive relationship, when a true love enters, they'll be like, oh, is this normal? They'll be questioning everything. But life is like that. So you don't have to measure it by like blaming yourself. Some people, they measure life by beauty alone, uh, more than appearance. But you are more than that. Your character is everything. Your faith is everything. Wisdom, kindness, courage, purpose also, and beauty as well. So if you honor your body, your mind, you trust in your voice, and and stop craving for what broke you, because some people, they crave for bad relationship, because that's what they are used to. Those who are used to rejection, they will crave for rejection. They will start attracting these people that reject them, even in business and things like that. But when you walk with purpose, and you know what you represent, and you know who you are as a person, mostly is knowing who you are, and you will never be disappointed in life. Like we are friends. When friends that we trust, they turn against us,
Mm.
know your worthiness. When the family members that we trust, when they turn, just like that, because people's mind can just twist within a second. But if you know you're worthy, if you know, you will know that, okay, this person, they are behaving the way they are behaving. It's not because of what I've done. Maybe it's because of what they are going through themselves. But people always blame. They blame themselves. Oh, I'm going to crucify myself. Grant is behaving funny. So it means that there's something wrong with me. And maybe they don't know Grant is facing challenges, his own challenge. Instead of talking to Grant, there's a guy at work, because sometimes I don't eat in the day, but I try to give food to other people. So I gave him some sandwiches, and I find some sandwiches in the bin. So then I gave him the sandwiches that day, and then later on I said, "Why did you throw sandwiches in the bin?" He goes, "No, sir, I was so stressed. In a way, I even forgot about sandwiches, that I ate sandwiches in the bag." So it's like, why? But I could have easily judged him, and I said, "What is going on?" So he started telling me what is going on. And he said, "Honestly, I was really, really stressed. When you have food in the bag, I wasn't even hungry." And later on, uh, like I think that was the following day, he realized he had sandwiches. and I could have easily judged him. So I think sometimes it's very, very important to ask questions. If you go home, my mom will tell you that never speak about people in front of Nomsa. Nomsa ask questions. She will tell you if there is something you don't understand about someone, don't even say anything in her presence, because you will ask and she'll call that person and say, come on, these people are wondering what's up with you. Tell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she always say, when they are talking, she always say, she'll be pointing, not when she's here.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
They did that to my uncle. They're like, my uncle is having an affair. My uncle is coming home late. He's having an affair. So I'm listening to them talking, and then my uncle walks in. So me, I'm like, Uncle, can you explain to yourself to my mom and your daughter? They think you're having an affair. Could you please explain what's going on with your life? Why are you coming home late? My uncle goes, I'm doing overtime because I need to go home in the village. And he said the overtime came up, so I decided to take the job so I can make extra money. So I was like, okay, you all have your explanation. So can we move on? Honestly, there people can crucify themselves, Grant.
yeah, I do. I do. Yeah.
And I used to do that. I have experience, guys. I used to do that. I'll be sitting there blaming myself. And when I decided to go and find the actual story, and I find that story has nothing, the person's behavior has nothing to do with what I've done or whatever, nothing to do with me, but I would have crucified myself. I would have blamed myself. But when I go into personal development, I was like, I'm not crucifying myself anymore. So yeah, it's 7 minutes past, Grant. Do you want to say the words of encouragement?
Thank you, Nonsense. Yeah, I'd love to. I love that story that you shared. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. When you go home, Grant, my mom will just make it clear, whatever you want to do, not when this one is here. Just wait until she goes out. Then they can gossip.
That's it. They don't gossip in front of Nonsense, the children.
Oh no. Even my children, when you gossip in front of them, my children ask questions. And I remember one day, her aunt, my daughter's aunt, the one you saw, they were talking and talking about her best friend. And then the best friend comes in and the best friend now introduces herself to my daughter. And my daughter, she's, oh, you are the annoying one. And she was like, they were talking about you saying you are annoying. And I was like, don't say things in front of the kids. So I don't say anything. Since then, my daughter taught me not to say anything in front of the kids.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I like it.
Yeah. You talk about granting with the kids, and the kids, when you walk in, they say, by the way, mommy has been talking about you because they're innocent.
But I just tell you, kids just come straight out with it.
Yep.
Yeah, they're great. Words of encouragement. You're already better than you already know.
Yep.
You just haven't looked. So follow those little simple exercises to look even further, see what it is. If you have a specific challenge that you don't know how to navigate your way through, or sometimes it's easier to explain these things, but it's harder to do it for yourself. If you need it, please contact us here at the show, and one of us can work with you and do that. We help lots of clients do that kind of thing. So we'll walk them through their problems and separate them out. I got a wonderful testimonial just yesterday about what I've been doing with a client to do that. Changed his thinking. He said, I've changed his mindset and the way he looks at life, the way he looks at experience. It's made him happier, joyful, got more energy, and increased his business sales dramatically. just by doing these things. So this is the kind of thing we do. So if you want to know more about how we can help you with that, please inquire in the show and we'll jump on a call and talk with you about what we can do. But either way, it's worth doing because of the power of self-worth and seeing yourself in new eyes plays dividends in all areas of your life. And it also just feels damn good and you'll be happy. So if you want to do that, please let us help you. And because it can be done and it can change your life. So that's what I feel like saying. Nomsa, over to you.
For me, guys, dress, walk, speak like you value yourself. How you present yourself can remind your mind that you are worthy of care, dignity, and honor. You don't have to be like everybody else. Just be who you believe to be true about yourself. Your character is good enough. And if you feel that my character needs to work on yourself. Always work on yourself. I learned this from Carol Ann. I used to have problems, and me, I'll be talking to Carol Ann, and I'm telling her my story. She goes, "What do you think it was in you that has activated this person to behave the way they behave?" I'm thinking, Carol Ann, can you help me here? And then one day I had a problem, and then I go to my pastor, and I'm prepared my story that I'm gonna tell her this story. It's a long one. Tell him the long story, and then I'm like, want him to speak to God, and then God says, stops everything. God says, tell her to tell me what she wants from me. I'm very, very pleased with her. I love her. Tell her what she wants from me. And I'm thinking, God, you're cutting me my story as well. So it means whatever we've gone through, guys, it does not define us. How we respond, like Grant said, how we have a choice to actually, I wrote it down. Things like he said, 20, write down 20 things that bring success. My success is my creation. My downfall, Grant says, is his creation. So everything we go through, guys, it doesn't define, it's how we respond to that situation. That is the critical component of or how our tomorrow is going to look like. So you may see someone and you want their life, but you don't know what they have to go through to get to that life. So for me, since Carol Ann, like when I'm going, says what activated this person to behave. Every time I go through pain, I look at me. Everything that I do, or if someone behave, because grand success, intelligent can intimidate someone. And because he doesn't know that his intelligent is actually causing problems, he can just be going around blaming people, not knowing he's the problem with his intelligent. See, just your confidence can cause problems to people. Yeah. So,
strong environment.
Yeah. So it's just valuing yourself and embracing who you are as a person. God bless you guys. Granty has already said, please do get in touch and please do follow his instruction. We have 2 groups, Ghost Talk Shows, Unique Billionaire Mindset. And please, guys, go to Ghost Talk Shows. Don't join in Billionaire Mindset only. And share the video as well with your families. If you're on Twitter, please do share the video. Facebook, LinkedIn, share with your family. God bless. See you tomorrow. Granty will see you. He is not here next week. He will see you guys when he comes back. He's traveling. He's flying.